Hey there, folks. Andre, the Game Idea Guy here. And, okay. Firstly, I know this is kind of a nonsense thing. It's just something that I thought was interesting. It hit me as an idea. So I figured I was going to go ahead and talk about it because there is potential there for use for this type of thing. It just doesn't necessarily need to be done because there are other things that Nintendo already has in place that kind of work out to do something very similar and have less usage of internet. But because game sharing is a thing, and game share works both locally with up to 4 Nintendo Switches and Nintendo Switch 2s, and it also works online with up to 4 Nintendo Switch 2s, is an interesting concept to me. And that's what you've already read on the title, Game Beam. Now, someone's going to wonder, what is Game Beam? What would Game Beam be? And to be honest, it's simply just game streaming from one piece of hardware to the next. Very much what PS5 and PS Portal do. It's literally that. It's just literally streaming from one to the other. And again, you would ask, why do they need this? They already have virtual game cards. Well, there are a couple instances this might be useful. One, if you have your Nintendo Switch 2 in one room, say it's like an office or a den or something, where you keep all of your gaming equipment, you have it there. You have your old Nintendo Switch that you didn't get rid of, now in the living room, and you allow other people to play on the Nintendo Switch. But maybe you don't feel like sitting in the office. You just want to go sit in your living room, on the couch, play one of your Nintendo Switch 2 games on your couch. But you can't play it on your Nintendo Switch. And you don't feel like moving everything to play it on your Nintendo Switch. Well, game beaming would kind of solve that problem. Using the same technology that is used to do game sharing, game beaming would literally be just doing that, but you're just sharing the instance that's playing on the Nintendo Switch 2 to the Nintendo Switch or other Nintendo Switch 2 that is located somewhere else. That's it. You're just sharing the one instance, the focused instance, to be able to play. All of your inputs and stuff are going back and forth, and you're just playing it. Just that way. Simple enough. You use the same technology that game sharing is used through, which means you can use it locally for your Nintendo Switch and online for another Nintendo Switch 2 that would be linked to your account. Not a whole lot of hard work needed to understand the concept. Nintendo has already made it a possibility to do it. It just depends on if the game is compatible. Some games will be, some games won't be. So, that sat in my mind. That was the thing I was thinking about. I was like, they could do this. Like, you might just not want to have somebody crowd up your little personal space. And you're like, yeah, I got the Switch out there. I can just beam it to the Switch and show off the game. Let them get a glimpse of what the game is like. I don't have to move my equipment around if I don't want to. I can just, hey, I got my Switch here. I'm gonna load the game up and send it to the Switch, and I'll show you one out there on the bigger TV where we have more space and we're not all crowded together. Because as an introvert, I'd rather not have everybody on top of me. Thank you very much. So, I know this is it's not a hyper-specific situation, and it is a probable situation because of the number of Nintendo Switches that are out there in the world. But it's just one of those things where I'm looking at, if there's just somebody that doesn't trade in their Nintendo Switch because they don't like to trade in their platforms. There are plenty of us around that don't like to trade in our platforms. And they hold on to it and just do the Game Beam thing. That would be pretty easy and help them not have to move stuff around. Or hey, you have a Nintendo Switch Lite. You're carrying that around the house, doing a bunch of stuff, and you're taking little moments to play your game, that is being beamed from your Nintendo Switch 2 to the light. Again, not hurting anything. It's just, it's really more of a feature of convenience. And hey, you're out and about, you have another Nintendo Switch 2, because there are definitely going to be some people that have more than one. You have another Nintendo Switch 2, you take it, and you go out about your day. You connect your Nintendo Switch 2 to your phone via, hotspot, and go ahead and use it to play your game. I mean, again, that's what people are doing with PS5 and PS Portal. So it's a possibility, again, not a likelihood, but a possibility, that they would introduce something like this. I don't think it's going to be something that would happen within the first year, obviously. I think that they do have everything designed in a way that will allow it to be something that they can add in later. Again, this is super speculation on my part. I'm not expecting this to happen. It's just speculation on my part that is something that could be done. I mean, you could go ahead and ask Nintendo if it's possible. Now, I doubt that you would get any answer from customer service that would be, I doubt you get any answer from customer service that's going to be satisfactory. But it's a possibility. It's something that could be done, based upon what they have shown us that the Switch 2 is capable of doing. It is definitely a possibility. It's not something that was like, ooh, Andre's just talking out his butt. He don't know any better. I'm going based off of what they have shown us. What they have shown us tells me this is possible. And I think that would be, that'd be cool to do, honestly. Even if it doesn't have the most utility, it's something that they could add in to what they already have their service doing that would allow you to just, do that. It's something that could just be a quality feature. Doesn't have to necessarily have a whole lot of use, but you already have GameShare doing something very similar. And this, I believe, would be something that is a bit less stressful than GameShare to 4 Nintendo Switches, to 3 other Nintendo Switch 2s over the internet. If you're only beaming it to one and the inputs are going back and forth, I think that's a bit less stressful than beaming the game to 3 other Nintendo Switch 2s through GameShare and having the inputs go back and forth so that their instances of the game are up to date with the instance that you have on yours. Again, I could be wrong. I'm just saying something is possible. I'm not advocating for anything. I'm just saying, hey, they could do this. They could add this in. This could be a thing that you could utilize. Heck, if they're real slick, they might even attempt to find a way to make this work through the Nintendo Switch app. Being that we know that Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild have Zelda notes on the Nintendo Switch app, and that kind of interacts real time, at least from what they've shown, that interacts real time with what you're doing in the game. If they can do that, they may even be able to sneakily set up streaming from your Nintendo Switch 2 to your mobile device. Again, I'm just saying it's possible. Not saying it has to happen. I'm just giving the idea. That's my purpose. I'm giving the idea. Now, whether or not they go forward with that is a whole different kettle of beans. And I'm not pretending to know what Nintendo is going to decide to do. I'm not pretending I do know that. I am just saying, hey, if I see that I can do this thing and this other thing also works in a very similar way, maybe I can do that thing too. That's it. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Don't kill the messenger. even though I'm the one that came up with the message. Don't kill the messenger. But I am interested in seeing what Nintendo would do with something like this. So if anybody else is interested, hey, sound off in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. Again, it's an interesting concept to me. I don't think that they have to do it. I think that there are other things that they have that kind of sort of do something very similar already. But it's just one of those things where there are some advantages to this that could be useful to someone. Like, I could beam the game from one Nintendo Switch 2 to my Nintendo Switch, or I could beam it from one Nintendo Switch 2 to another without having to open up space on the other Switch 2 in order to play the game that's on the original Switch 2. So it depends on how you're looking at it. But I'm done with this. Again, this is speculatory. I'm not trying to act like this is something that is guaranteed. And I'm repeating that so that no one thinks that I'm saying, "Oh, Nintendo's about to do this." That's not what's happening. I'm just giving it thought. So, if you like this, please like, share, subscribe, interact. The more people that interact, the bigger this channel can grow, and the more I can focus on it. And I've been trying to focus more and more on this, because I do see that some of the things that I say do happen. Some of the things that I think will work do end up working. So let's see if we can get that message spread out a little bit. Just a little bit. So thank you guys very much for listening. Keep your eyes and ears out for more stuff from me. And until the next time, enjoy your games and peace out, everybody.